Today, you and I are going to unpack something profound together. Most growers are struggling, scraping by on razor-thin margins with industrial corn and soybeans, completely missing the true harvest. They are leaving serious provision on the table because they have forgotten the ancient garden, while the masses compete over genetically modified commodities. A small remnant of growers is quietly returning to the biblical health map, pulling in 40, 60, even $80 a pound from ancient botanicals most modern people have forgot. We are talking about divine, medicinal plants that fit in a simple backyard or greenhouse. People are desperately searching for this ancient wisdom. Here are 10 of the most valuable, and some will truly shock you. One of these is a creation NASA actually studied, though most dismiss it as mere pond scum. And another ancient remedy can bring in up to $80 a pound right from your patio. Let us start with number 10, lemon balm, a gentle herb that is quietly exploding in value. It does not look like a massive industrial moneymaker. It is humble, low maintenance, and spreads as if by divine design. But this simple leaf is generating real, steady revenue for those who understand its worth. Dried herb sells for $20 to $40 a pound because of one tragic modern reality: inescapable chronic stress. People are overwhelmingly sick, sleep-deprived, and desperately seeking the pure, ancient medicine of the earth instead of pharmaceutical side effects. Lemon balm checks every single box of this ancient health map. It carries traditional credibility going back centuries, long before modern medicine. And now clinical research is finally validating what the ancients knew about its power over anxiety and sleeplessness. That specific combination, ancient botanical wisdom layered with modern scientific proof, is exactly what a sick, weary world is willing to pay a premium for. The buyers are not just small-town herbalists anymore. Massive tea companies need a pure, consistent supply of this restorative plant. Tincture makers and natural formulators are scaling up rapidly to meet the cry for true healing. The demand for this ancient stress relief is growing much faster than anyone can plant it. What makes lemon balm genuinely compelling is the simple, honest math of its creation. It is a perennial, meaning you plant this seed of wisdom into the soil just once, and it faithfully provides a harvest for years to come, getting multiple cuttings in. A single season is standard if you steward the land well. Your input costs remain incredibly low. And because this ancient herb does not show up in those modern, industrial agricultural guides, the commercial supply chain is remarkably thin. It is easy to cultivate, meets a profound human need for healing, and remains scarce in the broader market. That is not a warning sign to shy away. In the world of specialty botanical provision, that is exactly the formula for lasting, sustainable prosperity. Number 9 is fenugreek, a deeply ancient provision that most modern growers foolishly ignore. It sells for $15 to $30 a pound, but the price alone completely misses the spiritual and physical wisdom of this plant. The seeds are foundational to traditional Middle Eastern and Indian meals, carrying a distinctive, earthy bitterness that defines ancient bread recipes and spice blends. Real people want quality domestic harvests over cheap imports. But the second market is where the true health map is revealed: the natural healing industry. Fenugreek holds incredible, documented power for balancing blood sugar, regulating hormones, and supporting nursing mothers. These are 3 distinct avenues of true, bodily healing. Stick with me here, because the way this plant protects a grower is fascinating. If the culinary world shifts and restaurant demand cools down, the natural medicine buyers are still waiting at your door. That kind of profound market insulation is genuinely rare in our fragile modern agricultural system. Practically speaking, fenugreek is an annual herb that goes to seed beautifully, harvests with clean simplicity, and ships without the fragile breakdown of lesser plants. Right now, the United States still imports almost all of its supply from across the globe. A local grower offering pure, certified organic fenugreek steps into a powerful pricing advantage, simply by growing a healing staple that is incredibly difficult to find natively. Number 8 brings us to ashwagandha, a cornerstone of ancient medicinal survival. It belongs to a category of botanicals called adaptogens, created to help the human body manage severe stress and regulate its hormonal responses naturally. This category alone is worth hundreds of millions of dollars today. Dried ashwagandha root commands $25 to $60 a pound, and the demand is historically unshakable. The uncomfortable truth for the modern supplement world is that most of this powerful root is still shipped across the ocean from India. Every single imported pound represents an opportunity for a local grower to provide a pure, transparent, natively grown source of ancient healing to a market desperate for authenticity. The detail that truly preserves the value of this botanical treasure is the ancient law of patience. Ashwagandha root requires 18 full months to 2 years in the dark earth to reach its full medicinal potency. Most modern farmers, addicted to the fast, industrialized pace of instant returns, look at that timeline and walk away. That impatience is exactly why the margins remain so rich for those willing to embrace the slow, deliberate rhythm of nature. The wise move is to plant this powerful root alongside faster-growing provisions. It becomes a silent, maturing asset beneath the soil while your other crops provide immediate sustenance. The long wait is not a flaw in the design, it is the natural filter that keeps the greedy out. Modern science is finally catching up to what the ancients always understood. Ashwagandha has serious, peer-reviewed clinical data proving its miraculous ability to adapt the body to stress and calm raging cortisol levels. Because of this undeniable truth, it has built an incredibly loyal, devoted base of people who rely on it daily for survival in a chaotic world. They are not going anywhere. You have a long, clear path forward. Very little local competition, and the promise of premium pricing for a pure, untainted harvest. In the grand design of this ancient health map, the multi-year wait in the soil is exactly what concentrates its incredible healing power. It is a feature of divine provision, not an obstacle to be avoided. The healing mathematics here are beautifully simple. This unpretentious leaf is 200 to 300 times sweeter than toxic white sugar, delivers absolutely 0 calories, and requires 0 artificial laboratory chemistry. Diabetics fighting for their lives have a genuine need for it, and families trying to escape the trap of synthetic sweeteners rely on it completely, but the bleached white powder sitting in little packets on restaurant tables is the wrong target entirely. That corrupted market is run by massive, soulless industrial extractors. The true opportunity, and the highest reverence for the plant, is providing the pure, dried, whole leaves for traditional brewing, herbal medicine, and clean, wholesome cooking just as nature intended. That specific community of seekers is vastly underserved. They value the deep authenticity and simplicity of a whole, untouched plant. And they gladly pay a premium that bulk processors simply cannot match. Stevia thrives as a tender perennial in warm soil, and it performs beautifully in a protected greenhouse when the bitter winter sets in. If you harvest it with respect and dry it carefully to preserve its God-given sweetness, you hold a premium medicine for those rejecting corporate supplement brands. You can become the direct source for local tea shops, natural healers, and health-conscious families. Just one single, meticulously tended greenhouse bed can yield enough to faithfully supply your entire local wellness community year-round. That is exactly the kind of steady, deeply rooted revenue that turns a forgotten botanical into a lifelong blessing. Now, I want to show you number 6, calendula, a miraculous skin healer that most people mistake for a common weed. It is a cheerful orange flower, pretty to look at, but wildly underestimated. In truth, calendula is an absolute powerhouse in the world of natural, clean restoration, with dried flowers commanding $20 to $50 a pound. Modern skincare is desperately trying to return to natural purity, and this brilliant flower is leading the charge. It possesses heavily documented anti-inflammatory wisdom and has been relied upon for centuries by ancient cultures to soothe burns, heal deep wounds, and restore damaged skin. It literally embodies every single ancient virtue a premium wellness brand wants to bless its label with. Healing salves, facial oils, soothing balms, and gentle remedies for infants, almost every true natural apothecary utilizes calendula in its pure form. The question is never whether the broken world needs this healing. The question is whether you are willing to cultivate it. What truly separates calendula from other botanicals is its beautiful flexibility. You can supply large, natural manufacturers who need massive volumes of this ancient remedy. You can provide smaller batches to the incredible rising movement of independent, home-based soap makers and healers. Or you can craft your own restorative oils and deeply healing apothecary kits. Today, you and I are going to unpack this forgotten wisdom together. Starting with a flower that feels like it was designed in the original garden, calendula gives you three completely different ways to provide value from a single crop, and that kind of natural provision is rare. Growing it is incredibly simple. Mirroring the agrarian rhythms of the ancients, you simply pick the bright blooms often, and the plant naturally responds by giving you even more. But the true secret is how you treat it after the harvest, when you honor the plant by preserving its vibrant color and healing oils with careful, low-heat drying. You elevate its worth tremendously. And that brings us to number 5 on our list. It is an herb hiding in plain sight, one that usually makes people pause. Catnip. The reaction is always a laugh, but pure, carefully dried catnip commands between $30 and $60 a pound. We are looking at an industry worth billions, growing stronger every year. Think about the ancient mandate to be good stewards of the earth. Modern pet owners are finally returning to that standard. They are no longer settling for processed kibble and artificial treatments. They want pure supplements and uncorrupted foods for their animals. The people driving this shift are the very same ones seeking out clean ingredients for their own bodies, treating health as a sacred duty. They simply apply that exact same standard to their dogs and cats. Yet, there is a hidden truth in the market. A massive gap in quality exists right under our noses. If you look closely at commercial bulk catnip, you will find it is a corrupted version of the plant. It is stripped of its vital oils, hastily dried, and cut with lifeless filler leaves. It is dead, but when you offer a freshly harvested, deeply potent herb, you provide something that works exactly as intended by nature. The animals instantly recognize the difference. High-end natural pet boutiques understand this fundamental truth. They are desperately searching for pure, unadulterated harvests, but they are coming up empty-handed. That glaring void in the supply chain is your exact opportunity. A devoted grower who can consistently bring forth a clean, vibrant, and properly cured herb holds something that premium buyers will gladly secure. Let us look at this piece by piece, shall we? This plant is a vigorous perennial. You plant the seed just once, and it yields a faithful harvest season after season. You can supply specialty merchants, sell directly at local markets, or partner with companies desperate for pure botanicals. Never underestimate a buyer who extends their pursuit of natural health to their animals. Now we turn to number 4, Tulsi. This is a sacred herb, often called holy basil, that has crossed over into everyday wellness. For thousands of years, the ancients recognized this not just as a simple remedy, but as a revered plant holding profound significance. Today, it brings $20 to $45 per pound. With eager demand pouring in from every corner of the market, the deep respect for this plant never truly faded. Traditional communities have faithfully sought out the healing leaves of holy basil for generations, creating a stable foundation that ignores the fleeting fads of modern wellness. But a great awakening is happening. People are realizing our heavily processed lifestyles are breaking our bodies down. They are running back to ancient solutions to combat modern stress and restore balance, mostly through the simple ritual of tea. We are not talking about common, lifeless tea bags here. These are functional herbal drinks designed to heal, clear the mind, and fortify the body's natural defenses. They command top prices at independent health merchants, natural food shops, and direct delivery services serving a desperate, hungry public. In this movement back to natural medicine, holy basil stands on its own. It is not just a hidden filler in a blend, it is the absolute star. Yet the pure domestic supply is lagging painfully behind public demand. Small farmers who take their harvest directly to local tea makers are discovering that buyers desperately want to abandon overseas operations. It is not about saving pennies. It is about truth and transparency. A brand trying to offer genuine healing wants a supply chain that is honest and uncorrupted. When you grow this plant in a specific field, with clean hands and a verifiable method, you offer them that exact truth. A massive overseas supplier simply cannot provide the absolute purity and peace of mind that these modern wellness companies are looking for. Holy basil thrives in the warmth of the sun, blessing the grower with multiple bountiful harvests in a single season. The fragrant leaves dry beautifully, store without any complex interventions, and travel safely without falling to pieces. It pairs ancient historical roots with a massive modern following, creating a deeply stable value that holds fast even when the world changes its mind. Now, let us move to number 3, duckweed. This is the tiny, overlooked plant that most people simply toss aside, yet even the scientists at NASA are studying it. These specific varieties are the fastest-growing plants on the Earth, when given the right environment. They literally double their physical size every 24 to 48 hours. We are talking about explosive, miraculous growth. Stick with me here, because this is where the design of nature truly shines. The scientists at NASA studied this tiny green plant not as a fun trick, but as a completely self-sustaining system to keep humans alive in the harshest environments. When dried, it easily commands $20 to $60 for a single pound. That value holds perfectly firm because the natural nutritional density is staggering. This tiny plant is packed with 40 to 45% pure protein. Soybeans, the massive industrial crop that feeds the globe, only reach about 35%. That incredible gap has caught the serious attention of natural supplement creators and animal caretakers who want powerful, clean protein. Serious resources are pouring into uncovering this rapid grower. You are not toiling out in the dusty fields with this one. You nurture it in simple, shallow pools of water, and the multiplication is so astonishing that a tiny handful becomes an abundant harvest in mere days. The space efficiency is a marvel of creation. You get a volume of life from a few square feet that industrial farms could never dream of achieving. A quiet backyard with 4 or 5 water beds can bring forth a steady weekly bounty. Some devoted growers are even pairing this tiny plant with fresh tilapia. They use the natural waste from the fish to feed the green leaves, and the leaves to feed the fish. It is a completely unbroken circle of life, a perfect natural system that strips away heavy costs while blessing the grower with 2 valuable provisions from one small patch. The provision found in that simple water loop is vastly different from anything in the modern farming world. This brings us to number 2, moringa. People often call it the miracle tree. And while that might sound like a marketing trick, the truth of its healing power is deeply legitimate. The carefully dried leaves bring in $20 to $40 a pound. The hunger for this plant is rapidly growing. While domestic supplies lag behind, it was the sheer nutritional density that first woke people up. These leaves are a vibrant storehouse of nutrition, completely packed with vitamins A, C, and E, essential minerals, and easily absorbed plant protein. It is exactly the kind of life-giving medicine that feels specifically designed to heal the sicknesses of our processed modern age. That divine profile of deep nutrition turned instantly into healing resources. Clean powders, capsules, and restoring teas now stand proudly on the shelves of health merchants. Direct providers are building entire missions around this plant at a stunning pace, but almost all are forced to look overseas because our local fields have not stepped up. What makes this tree so profoundly different from modern crops is how powerfully it reaches for the sun. A sapling can shoot up 12 to 15 feet in its first year. You are blessed with multiple harvests of vibrant leaves, season after season. Once its roots are firmly set, you have a lasting, renewable source of life that asks for very little intervention. You are not babysitting a fragile seed every spring, you are planting a legacy. You might be wondering the same thing I did about stepping into this space. In the warm soils of Florida and Southern California, small caretakers are passing their harvest directly to local natural cafes. They ignore cheap import prices and command a massive premium. Why? Because they can offer a freshly dried leaf, an honest origin story, and a pure product delivered in just 2 days. No massive overseas operation can match that truth. For a health company fighting to stay transparent, having a farmer down the road is not a nice bonus. It is the absolute core of their integrity. A local grower with a clean, uncorrupted harvest never fights over pennies. They win completely on the undeniable strength of their proximity. Pure freshness and honest, deeply rooted story, standing firmly in that kind of honest truth creates a deeply rooted stability that commodity markets can never offer. And that brings us to the top of our list. Number 1. The brilliant Sichuan pepper, a deeply exotic spice moving for up to $80 a pound. This vibrant, mouth-awakening spice sits at the absolute summit for a very specific reason, and it is crucial we understand why. In ancient times, rare spices were traded like pure gold, heavily guarded and deeply revered for their power to transform a simple meal into an absolute physical experience. Today, this unique harvest has shifted from a rare curiosity to a massive, unstoppable movement in the food world. High-end natural chefs and devoted cooks have all come to realize one absolute truth. There is no substitute. When we examine ancient texts as a map of human health, we find that certain plants act as keys to the nervous system. Take the numbing, tingling sensation of specific powerful botanicals. It is not just heat, it is a biological code. Modern science calls these compounds hydroxy-alpha-sanchul, but ancient healers recognized them as triggers that interact with our nerve receptors in ways basic heat simply cannot. Today, those who truly understand human physiology gladly pay for the authentic plant because nothing else unlocks those pathways. And the secret that stops most from growing these ancient medicinal shrubs is not the weather. These resilient plants can thrive in temperate soils right now, surviving droughts just as they did centuries ago across growing zones 5 through 9. That territory covers massive stretches of the United States and meaningful parts of Canada. The true barrier is not the soil, but our lost connection to ancient agricultural wisdom. We have become far too comfortable with modern, hollow crops, but a shift is happening. You and I are finally seeing a demand from those who treat food as medicine, people who are explicitly asking for local harvests. The reason is pure biological potency. The ancient healing oils and aromatic compounds in these plants are incredibly volatile. They slowly die during transport. Botanicals that sit in metal shipping containers for weeks lose the very life force our ancestors prized. They are measurably weaker than fresh, living medicine harvested from the earth and delivered to your table within days. Anyone who has felt the true physiological response of the fresh plant knows the difference instantly. And they will gladly pay for that vitality without a second thought. Modern apothecaries, wellness suppliers, and families seeking real survival nutrition are desperately searching for local growers who can provide that ancient standard of purity. Right now, they are looking, and most are coming up entirely empty. Think about the rare alignment we have here. We are talking about a living medicine with massive value per pound, a growing hunger from people seeking genuine healing. a biological profile that cannot be faked in a laboratory, and almost zero local competition. Conditions like this almost never exist together. If you have listened this far, you are waking up to a profound truth. What you choose to plant in your soil is a deliberate decision, not a requirement handed down by the modern food industry. This choice dictates the health of your land and your livelihood. Processed commodity crops force you into a brutal game of sheer volume. In that broken system, the farmer with the most acreage and the cheapest chemically treated yield always wins. Small growers are completely set up to fail, but cultivating ancient survival foods changes the entire equation. This path relies on deep biological wisdom, purity, and intention. You do not need massive industrial fields. You only need to understand the healing mechanics of your plants better than the next person. Build honest relationships with those who crave real nourishment and grow with uncompromising integrity. This is a completely different way of living, where a tiny 2-acre medicine garden can easily outlast a 200-acre industrial farm. It is not about luck. It is about recovering lost knowledge. Almost every healing herb and ancient staple we have discussed can thrive on a small patch of earth. You can start planting many of these with the simple tools you already have in your shed. You can even begin this as a quiet side project before leaving the modern food system entirely. The financial cost to begin is incredibly low. The learning curve requires patience, but it is deeply rewarding. We are in a brief, vital window where the demand for pure domestic healing plants is surging, and you have the power to set the standard. But this window will not stay open forever. One final thought. If you had to choose just one of these ancient survival plants to root in your soil right now, considering your local climate and your desire to harvest real medicine, which one calls to you? And what is genuinely stopping you from planting that first seed? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because that is where we share real wisdom on this channel. If this journey into biblical health and physiology gave you something valuable to consider, please like this video and subscribe. It helps spread this lost knowledge far more than you might realize, and we have so many more ancient secrets to uncover. We are barely scratching the surface today. Stick around for the next video, and let me know what healing traditions we should explore next. Thank you for walking this vital path with me.